Welcome to the AI Queens podcast, the show where women entrepreneurs learn to ditch the overwhelm, embrace AI, and build businesses fit for royalty. I'm Erika Stanley, your host and tech expert, here to deliver tools, tips, and actionable strategies to help you scale smarter. Let's get to it.
Have you ever found yourself staring at a broken appliance thinking, I really don't want to spend $300 today on a repair person? Or maybe you've been planning a trip and felt overwhelmed by all the packing decisions. Last month, I posted a simple question on LinkedIn. How are you using AI in ways that have absolutely nothing to do with work? What happened next shocked me. Over 200 comments flooded in with stories about AI helping people plan meals, troubleshoot home repairs, and even process emotional trauma. At the same time, Harvard Business Review released research showing that the number one use case for AI in 2025 isn't business related at all. It's therapy and companionship. And two new entries in the top 10 for 2025 that didn't even make the list in 2024: organizing my life and finding purpose. This shift tells us something profound. AI is becoming less about productivity tools and more about enhancing our everyday human experience. I'm Erika Stanley, and today on the AI Queens podcast, I'm sharing how people are using AI to solve everyday problems, from fixing appliances to planning the perfect vacation. More importantly, I'll show you how to start asking, how can AI make this easier in your own life? Let's dive in. What fascinates me most about this shift is how it mirrors what I've seen in my own life and what those 200 plus comments on my LinkedIn post revealed. We're collectively discovering that AI isn't just for work tasks, it's becoming a helpful assistant in our personal lives too. So, according to that Harvard Business Review's top 10 Gen AI use cases in 2025, we're witnessing a fundamental shift in how people use AI. The focus is moving away from purely technical applications towards emotional intelligence, creativity, and everyday problem solving. I started using AI for business tasks at first, writing emails, creating content, analyzing data. But gradually over time, I've been asking myself more and more this one simple question whenever I'm faced with a challenge: how can AI make this easier? That question, how can AI make this easier, is the framework I want you to take away from today's episode. It's not complicated, but it's incredibly powerful when applied consistently. Let me show you how this simple question has saved time, money, and frustration for both me and the amazing people who responded to my LinkedIn post. Let's start with something practical: home repairs. So, a few months ago, I noticed something strange happening with my dryer. The little toggles on hoodies and drawstring pants were constantly getting caught in this gap in the barrel and then wrapping around other clothes until everything was tangled into one giant knot. My first instinct, obviously, was to call a repair person, which would have cost, even before they fix anything, like $300. But then I asked, how can AI make this easier? So I grabbed my phone, I stuck it inside the dryer, took several pictures of the inside until I got a good shot of the gap, and then I uploaded those to ChatGPT. I explained the problem in detail, describing how the toggles were getting caught and asking what my options were. After a brief back and forth where ChatGPT asked me a couple of clarifying questions about the model and the specific location of the gap, it suggested a simple solution using some heat resistant tape to cover that gap. The total cost there was like $8 and 15 minutes of my time plus a trip to Home Depot. I had a similar experience with my toilet. The little flapper arm wasn't working properly, and the toilet, instead of running all the time, it just was getting stuck. So, again, I took some pictures, I uploaded them to ChatGPT and explained the problem. Within minutes, I had a step by step instruction for adjusting the arm. It was a fix that I was able to do myself, and it took me less than 10 minutes and it cost me nothing. Now, I'm not alone in using AI this way. When I looked at the LinkedIn comments, we heard from Mark, one of the commenters on my post, and he shared how he received a set of golf clubs as a gift, despite never having played golf. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or embarrassed to ask questions, He took photos of each club, uploaded them to ChatGPT, and asked for an explanation of which and he asked for an explanation of what each one was for, how to hold it, and basic swing dynamics. He essentially created a personalized golf instructor for himself using photos and AI. Now, I should add in an important caveat here. AI isn't always the answer. I recently had an issue with my sewing machine. I was so confident in my AI troubleshooting abilities, along with the fact that I'm pretty handy and good with general tools. I had the entire sewing machine disassembled and all laid out on my dining room table, following what I thought were going to be expert instructions. And I was not able to fix it. I finally gave up and took it to an actual repair person, and he fixed it in literally 5 seconds by flicking a small lever I hadn't even noticed. He handed it back to me with a laugh and said, "Here you go." Didn't charge me a penny, but also didn't offer to help me put it back together. So, the lesson there, AI is an incredible first line of defense for troubleshooting, but sometimes you do need an actual human expert. The key is knowing when to make that call. All right, let's move from fixing things to planning things. So, a year ago, my husband and I were preparing for a trip to the UK. We're both carry on only travelers, which means every item has to earn its place in the suitcase. Planning a capsule wardrobe that would work for different weather conditions, activities, and occasions, including the Taylor Swift concert that we went to in London, it all felt overwhelming. And I was starting to question whether or not this was a trip that I might have to check a bag for. But I asked myself, how can AI make this easier? So I opened up ChatGPT and provided some specific details. Which staple items did I already have in my closet? Our itinerary, including London and Ireland, the fact that we'd have access to laundry halfway through, the weather report, special events like the concert and a trip to the theater that were going to require special outfits. Using all of that, ChatGPT created a comprehensive packing list for me that maximized my outfit combinations from minimal pieces and accounted for layering options for changing weather. The result is that I packed everything in a single carry on and had the perfect outfit for every occasion. I never once thought, "Ooh, I wish I had brought that other thing." But the travel planning examples from my LinkedIn post went far beyond packing. A commenter named Kelly shared how she used AI to plan her entire Bangkok trip. She told ChatGPT about her discomfort with crowds and navigating public transportation, her her budget constraints, and her preference for a more relaxed vacation pace. The AI created a customized itinerary for her that avoided peak tourist times and included transportation options that matched her personal comfort level. Another commenter named Maurice took a different approach. He and his family spotted a rock and crystal mine in the distance during a road trip. They took a picture, showed that to ChatGPT, gave it their location, and asked for more information. The AI was able to identify the mine, provided its entire history, and suggested the best time to visit and what they might find there. What made all of these approaches effective wasn't just the AI, it was the specific information provided. We didn't just ask generic questions, we gave it context, constraints, and clear objectives. This is a principle that applies to any AI interaction, whether it's personal or professional. Now, let's talk about food, specifically how AI helped me create a Thanksgiving meal for 4 people for under $50. Those of you who follow me on Instagram have already heard this story, but last November I was planning a small Thanksgiving gathering, but I wanted to keep it within a tight budget. Instead of scaling down to the basics, I wondered, how can AI make this easier? I took out a few things from my pantry that I wanted to use and provided ChatGPT with my $50 budget constraint, the fact that I'd be shopping at Trader Joe's, and a list of things that I already had staples, dietary preferences for my guest, and my kitchen equipment limitations. The AI created a complete Thanksgiving menu that utilized ingredients I already had to maximize my budget and included a shopping list organized by store section. And if you Trader Joe's at all, you know this is a big deal. The meal was a huge hit, and no one could believe it cost less than 50 bucks. Rachel from my LinkedIn post shared a similar holiday cooking story, but with a different challenge. Her issue wasn't budget, but timing. She uploaded all of her holiday recipes to ChatGPT and asked it to create a cooking timeline that would ensure everything was ready at the same time. The AI broke down the process, identifying which dishes could be prepared in advance, which needed to be started the morning of, and the exact sequence for the final hours before the guests arrived. As Rachel put it, meal planning is my least favorite part of hosting, and I feel like I never get the timing right. This was a genius tool. Amy, another poster, took another approach with family meal planning. She told ChatGPT what her kids wouldn't eat, what she should be eating for health reasons, and asked it for a comprehensive plan. The AI didn't just create meal ideas, it generated a whole grocery list for her, a weekly plan, and even a list of, quote, chaos day options for when life gets a little hectic, but you still want to keep everyone on track nutritionally. What I love about these examples is how they show AI's ability to optimize within constraints. By clearly communicating our limitations, whether they're budget, timing, or picky eaters, we got solutions that worked within our specific situations rather than just generic advice. My final example moves from practical problem solving to personal enrichment. Like many book lovers, I have shelves full of books. I like to say that my to be read, my TBR list is longer than a CVS receipt. I've been collecting for years. Some are read, most are unread, some partially read, and I wanted to prioritize my reading list, but felt super overwhelmed by all of the options and the books on my shelves. So I asked, how can AI make this easier? This was such a fun project. I took photos of the books on my bookshelves, capturing them stacked in different directions and arrangements. Some of them are stacked vertically, some of them are stacked on top of each other. And I uploaded all of them to ChatGPT. I then asked it to create a database of all of the books it could identify, title, author, and to put them in a spreadsheet. Then I had it look them up on Goodreads and give me the Goodreads ratings for each book. Note any major awards, Pulitzer, James Beard Awards, etc., and check which ones were popular on Book Talk. And then I had it reorganize that entire list based on my reading preferences. So it's so cool. The result was a personalized reading priority list that balanced quality, right? Pulitzer Awards, and my current interests and popularity. A girl sometimes likes a little steamy reading in there, or my favorite sometimes get a little stabby. So I ended up discovering books on my shelf that I'd forgotten that perfectly matched what I want to read next. What's totally fascinating about this example is how it combines visual recognition within ChatGPT, data aggregation, and personalization, all in service of a deeply personal goal, which for me was deciding what to read next. Could I have done all of this manually? Sure. I could have spent hours researching each book, checking the ratings, creating my own spreadsheet, but AI was able to compress that work into minutes, giving me more time to actually read. From my LinkedIn post, Sandra shared a related but totally different use case. She wanted to introduce her daughter to diverse female role models throughout history. So instead of limiting her daughter to just one type of role model, she was able to use AI to gather a brilliant, diverse selection of women from various fields: astronauts, brain surgeons, teenage inventors, and more. The AI helped her create a comprehensive and age appropriate resource that is able to expand her daughter's vision of what women can achieve. So, these examples, fixing appliances, planning travel, organizing meals, curating books, they might all seem unrelated, but they all stem from the same simple question: how can AI make this easier? This question is the foundation of what I call the AI problem solving mindset. It's about training yourself to see AI as a tool in your everyday problem solving toolkit, not just for work, but for any challenge you face. Here's how to develop this mindset. First, you're going to identify the actual problem. Be specific about what you're trying to solve. My dryer is tangling clothes is better, more specific than my dryer's not working right. Next, you'll want to gather relevant information. Take photos, make measurements, list constraints. The more context you provide, the better the solution. Next, you're just going to ask yourself that same question. How can AI make this easier? Then you'll iterate if necessary. If the first solution doesn't work, you'll provide feedback to the AI and have it try again. Last but not least, know when to call in the human expertise. Don't forget my sewing machine story. AI can't solve everything. This mindset becomes more powerful the more you practice it. Start with small, low stakes problems, and then as you build confidence, you'll naturally apply it to more complex challenges. And here's what's extra fascinating: this exact same mindset works for business challenges too. Whether you're troubleshooting a marketing campaign or planning a new product launch, the approach is identical. Identify the specific problem, gather the information, and ask, how can AI make this easier? So here's our big takeaway for this week. AI, it's not just a business tool. It's becoming an everyday problem solving assistant that can help with everything from fixing your toilet to planning your reading list. By consistently asking, how can AI make this easier? You'll discover creative solutions and challenges in every area of your life. If you've been wondering what else you could use AI for, try applying this question to home maintenance issues, travel and event planning, meal preparation, grocery shopping, personal organization and hobbies, or learning new skills. I'd love to hear how you're using AI in your personal life. Share your stories with me directly on that LinkedIn post. I'll put the link in the show notes. Let's keep it going. And if you want more AI experiments to try at home, you can join us over at the AI Queen Society on Substack, where I'm going to post a list of 20 personal AI experiments that you can jump in and try this weekend. They're going to be curated from my best and favorite uses directly from that LinkedIn post. So these are ways that people are actually using AI in their daily lives. And you can find that at aiqueenssociety.com. Until next time, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and remember, AI isn't just for work anymore. It's for ruling every part of your life and for making things a little bit easier.
Thanks for listening to the AI Queens podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow queen who needs to hear this. Want more tips and tools? Join the AI Queens Society at aiqueenssociety.com and start ruling your business with confidence today. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep reigning with AI.